Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing this morning? Afternoon.
Good.
What time is it? I don't even know. Well, welcome everybody to Tuesdays with Audra, a live stream show where we sit down with business owners and individuals in our community to kind of figure out what they're doing to keep their business on track, to do any kind of changes and pivots to overcome the challenges that we're currently having in our community. And I'm super excited. As always, I always want to say thank you to Chrissy Souders because she's the one that's in the background doing all the production, making sure that we get your questions answered. And so she's going to be back there handling all of that for us. Thank you so much, Chrissy. And today I'm so excited. Our guest today is Jonathan Kelly, and I cannot wait for him to share with you. He has just an amazing vibe, inspiration. I mean, following him on Facebook and getting to know him and his family has been pretty amazing. So thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So really, I always like to ask, can you introduce yourself and what you do to all of us?
Yeah. My name is Jonathan Kelly. I'm from Tallahassee. Went to Florida A&M, played basketball 4 years, got into sales after college, and just been, working with different companies like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Verizon, Comcast Business, just doing different things, learning different aspects of sales, and started my own company, got into some real estate, and then started life insurance with New York Life. So I do a lot of different things. I get kind of bored with things easily, so I want to do things that I'm passionate about, or that things that I'm really excited about.
I am on that same brainwave too. I do a lot of stuff because I'm interested in so many things, right?
Right.
So what really got you into New York Life, understanding all of the different things that you do?
So with New York Life, the last few years, I've been really interested in financial literacy. So I would teach financial literacy classes at like TCC and Florida State, FAMU, different high schools in town. And what really interested me in financial literacy was that most people don't know. Most people just don't know what they don't know. So we're not taught these things in school. The education system is not meant to teach us about credit or how to make money without trading time for money. It's just not there. So they're only taught one thing: go to work, go to school, go to work, and get a job and retire. So I knew there was another way. I saw other people doing it, and I just wanted to know what that was. Life insurance, a friend of mine got me into it this year because he had been trying to tell me for years and years and years, you really need to check out life insurance. JK, I'm telling you. So finally this year, I took him up on his offer, started studying for the exam, learning some things, and I realized this is exactly what I need to be doing. I get to help people, and I get to do something that I'm actually passionate about.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that you've had to modify your business in some ways over the last few months to continue to do what you do, because life insurance and that education and sitting down is normally a very face-to-face kind of situation. So
right.
What are some of the ways that you've had to re-strategize?
So this summer, I basically did everything via Zoom or phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Today, actually, this morning, I had a meeting in Midtown with a client face-to-face for the first time in, I don't know, it's been a while. I mean, it's been a while. So I haven't done a lot of face-to-face. Normally, I do a lot of phone calls or Zoom meetings. But this guy, he wanted to meet in person, and I don't have a problem meeting people in person. So it was good to actually sit down face-to-face, see him, talk to him, and show him some of the things we offer. I've had to modify it a little bit, but being on the phone doesn't bother me either way if I have to make calls.
Have you found it just as easy or more difficult or about the same to try to build those relationships over Zoom? Because a lot of us are into Zoom 24/7 now. Have you found it different than sitting down face-to-face to build those relationships?
I'll say it's about the same. When you're on a Zoom call, when you're on a Zoom, you still see the person, so you get to see their body language, you get to see their facial expressions, and it's almost like being in front of them, sitting 2 feet away from them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have that much difference as long as the person feels comfortable being on Zoom. As long as there's not a lot of noise or anything in the background, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I find coaching over Zoom to be just as good as well, as often more convenient too for my clients, because they don't have to leave and come back, as far as leaving home or office or whatever. So I find it to be just as easy.
Yeah.
What are probably a couple of the most common questions that you get from clients or potential clients now, or as far as market is concerned?
I would say probably questions about how, like, are they able to pull out the money? Like, can they take the money that they're putting away for life insurance? And the answer is yes and no. The reason I say that is if you have a term, it's a no, because term doesn't allow you to create cash value and save money. Whole life, on the other hand, allows you to create a cash value that you can take the money from and borrow. So a lot of people ask about that. They don't really know the difference. Most people just know life insurance and they think death benefit. That's just one aspect of it. So I think that's probably one of the bigger questions. What else? Maybe like sometimes about beneficiaries, how they can split it up and how many people they can have, things like that. So
are you getting a lot of questions, right, or previous to the election? Well, what if, the economy tanks and things like that?
Yeah, actually, nobody is asking about that, but I'll tell them about it anyways, because I know that it's coming. I know that we're already in a recession, so I know the collapse is coming. They're just trying to hold it up with the inevitable by pumping money into the economy, keeping the stocks up, but everything is going to come tumbling down probably next year. So it's just a matter of time. The main thing is if you have money in 401k, it's going to go with the market. So the market is all based on, your 401ks and all of this stuff is all based on what the market does. So if the market's not performing, your 401ks aren't performing. It's all stocks and bonds and mutual funds. So
what is one piece of practical advice that you might give to anybody out there, client or not client?
Oh, practical right now is buy gold. Buy gold if you can. Because right now, let's be honest, paper money, money, as we know it, it's just paper. And the only thing that's making it valuable is our belief in it. So if the belief in it goes, then what happens to the value? And China, they've already been buying gold for the past year. They've been buying up a ton of gold. So they know something Americans don't, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Yeah.
I would get into buying as much gold as you can afford and that you can, because it's the only thing that's going to go up in value if the dollar falls.
Right. Mm-hmm. I like to have or pontificate and have conversations on what is money and what is currency to people. Just, while you're sitting around the fire having a glass of wine. So
yeah.
What's the concept?
Yeah. So you tell me, Audra, what is money? What is the dollar to you?
Well, see, I'm kind of a weird one. So I believe that because I think that we often have too much money mindset issues born off of our experiences in our environment. So I'm kind of an odd person. So money doesn't actually exist. Money is energy, and the piece of paper is only the thing for which you exchange for that energy that you are either paying for or you are expending.
That's right. That's true. I believe the same thing. Money.
So when you buy a burger, you're buying the energy it took to create that, to put that together. And this little piece of paper is the thing that you're giving in exchange for it. Hi, Olivia. Yeah. Olivia says hi.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, hey, Olivia. Yeah, I tell people all the time that money is not real. And they look at me like, what do you mean it's not real? I'm like, it's not real. People created it. It's not real. Like it's a fiat. It's called a fiat currency. There's nothing backing it. And in 1971, Nixon took the gold standard away, or took all the, so when he took the gold standard off the dollar, that was the last thing that was actually backing the dollar, making it worth anything.
Right.
So
right.
The way I see it, money's only worth what we think it is.
That's right. That's right. And there was no way for them to be able to keep up the gold standard anyway, as, economies grew and populations grew and all of that stuff. And someone once told me that just after that, it was kind of based on oil and our involvement in that. But then, of course, that kind of ran its course, as it were. So.
Yeah.
So, but you have a lot, like you were mentioning before, you have many, many more passions aside from your investment business. You said that you do real estate. You also are a bit of an educator, you know, when it comes to people's finances. And you have a very particular passion drive. And I kind of like to figure out what that is, because you're a positive person and you are a leader in your community and a guide. And so tell me all about that stuff. What's your passion projects?
Yeah, really. I have a heart to help people and help change their mindset. You know, my passion is to teach people how to create their own destiny or create what they want out of their thoughts. You know, so you see people walking around here looking dead and pitiful and sad all the time, and it's like, what are you doing? And it's always all the problems they have, all the issues they're dealing with. I'm like, well, do you understand that you can't ever get to the other side of that if you're only focused on the problems and not the solutions? If you're only thinking like a victim and not a winner, you know, or somebody that is not, you know, if you're only constantly always thinking about the things that are getting you down, that you're losing, that you're broke, that you're all of these things, you'll never get to the other side. So it's always good to be positive and have positive thoughts so that you can attract those things. I truly believe in the law of attraction and that we attract the things that we think about the most. So for me, I want to think about positive things, good things, things that bring, you know, life, things that bring happiness and joy, you know, just things like that. So I try to teach people that stuff, and then also just help people learn the basics about whether it be trading, about money, like what we were just talking about, just anything, real estate. I don't teach real estate. My wife's a realtor, so she does that. I just like to invest in I'm sitting in an Airbnb right now because I couldn't make it to the house. So I'm sitting in an Airbnb that we have here and just trying to use some internet. But yeah, we do Airbnbs. We have a management company. We have my wife does the real estate and the property management. Then and I have the trading company. So those are the things we're passionate about.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very much in line with your thoughts on thinking positively, taking action, not just taking motion, but actually taking action. We can think a lot, and we can learn a lot, and we can pontificate a lot, and we can talk about a lot, but unless we actually do something, all of those things are for naught, but just to make us smarter.
Right.
I'm very much try to be a positive person. One of my mantras is to make sure that the person that I'm talking to leaves that interaction feeling good about being in my space. I'm not always perfect at it, but you know, it's certainly something that I strive to do on an everyday. And clearing out the excuses.
Yes.
We can blame a lot of things on other things that are outside of our control, but we have more control over our time, space, attention, and mindset than I think that a lot of people believe.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly important. And I assume that you also raise your kids this way.
Absolutely.
Are they positive, happy kids too?
Yes, for the most part. My youngest one, JoJo, he's a work in progress. But you know,
that's probably what my mom would have said about me. You're a work in progress.
Yeah, he really is, because he's a sweet kid. He's happy, but he'll let the smallest thing ruin his whole personality and attitude, and he'll go from being happy and having a good time smiling to like really getting in a funk where he's like just down and upset and crying. And you know, I just hate when he gets like that. So I have to always talk to him to tell him, look, JoJo, you can't let every little thing change your attitude. You know, like you have to fix your attitude to not change whether something happens to you or not. So I try to teach them how to not react to everything and how to respond the right way and not just emotional response. You know, these emotional responses, you even see it with grown-ups. They have emotional responses.
Oh, yeah, I can attest to that.
You know, so I think that emotional responses is just a way to, you know, like a coping mechanism or a way to deal with things that, you know, you try to tell a kid, it's like, hey, you don't have to get mad that your brother's laughing at you. and get all mad and want to fight him. Like, just ignore him, or just say, let him laugh and keep doing what you're doing. Just simple, simple things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what are some challenges or ways that you, I have a couple of questions. Like, I've got so many questions in my head. What is the most important thing that you do each day?
Most important thing I do each day is I like the fact that I get to take my kids to school every morning, and I get to see them off to school, talk to them, and then I get to actually pick them back up from school. It might sound small, but those little interactions where I get to take them to school, see them go to school, pick them up from school, ask them how their day was, that it only takes a few minutes, but I think that's important, and it's huge for the kid, for my sons. But that's probably my most important thing or best favorite thing that I do each day, because the rest of the day is just like work, yeah. But for that, it's those things where I think that it's meaningful and it's impactful.
Yes, that is. I didn't get that as a kid, so I can see why that would be important.
Well, when most people rode the bus, Audra, so like for me, my parents never dropped me off. I rode the bus. So I would never, we didn't talk in the mornings. I didn't see them. It was like, get up, get dressed, eat breakfast, go to school, run out to the bus stop,
Mm-hmm.
And now I get to take my kids to school every day, pick them up every day. That's just something that I think is can't really replace it, because I see them at home, but they're just at home either on the tablets, watching TV, whatever. But when you're in the car, it's just me and them. We're in the car, we're getting to talk, build, things like that.
Yeah, contained. Can't go anywhere.
Yep.
How important are your daily habits?
Very, extremely. It's funny. I have certain habits that I like, things that I do every day. I like to keep the same habits. I'm a very what's the word? Routine. I'm a very routine person. And I like to say that the routine helps with it has a direct correlation with productivity. So if you are a organized routine person, you should have better, productivity and performance than somebody that's not.
I agree. I just finished reading a book called Atomic Habits. It's
Okay.
really good. And it talks about how important it is for your brain function for you to have structure in your day, because, we're getting inundated with so much information throughout the day, all day long. And if our brain kind of already has a structure to how the day should go, or at least part of the day, even if it's just the morning, that it frees our mind up to make space for other things.
Right.
And so that's why I kind of asked that question. My questions change depending upon where I am in my reading schedule.
Yeah.
What is a question that you would like someone to answer?
What is a question that I would like someone to answer?
Mm-hmm.
About what?
I don't know.
No.
You can think on it. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
What's the last book that you read?
The 4-Hour Work Week.
Oh my God. You actually got through the whole book? That thing is like this thick. I mean, Tim Ferriss can talk forever.
Listen what I had to do now, Audra. I had to do the Audible because it was just too wet. I listened to the book. So I read it, but I did the Audible. It's long, super long.
It is.
And
he also has a podcast. Every single episode is like an hour and a half long.
It is. So the book is like on Audible, it's like 13 hours. So
yeah,
I would listen to a little bit each day, a few chapters, listen to it. But man, it was some good stuff. Like the things he was saying, I just never thought about it that way. So I try to implement those things into my own life and the stuff that I do so that I'm not wasting time. I tell people all the time, we are so distracted as a society right now, and we waste so much time.
We do waste so much time.
I don't have time. I don't have time. You do have time. You're either not using it right, or you don't really care about what it is that you need to do. Because if the things that we put our time towards and money are the things that we care about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, our attention is literally the thing that's for sale. I mean, have you heard the turn of phrase that if the content is free that you're signing up for, then you're the product?
That's so true.
It is so true. I mean, our attention and our time is so valuable that it has changed the face of our economy.
Yeah.
And so when we choose to give our attention to things, people, books, information, clients, it is very important and should be respected. I think it's a, it just, he also wrote a book called Tools for Titans. If you are interested in venturing into another Tim Ferriss, it's also about this big.
I haven't heard.
Yes, he goes through kind of habits, tips of successful people, whether they be the Dalai Lama or they be, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Warren Buffett, but the things that they do to be successful. It's a really good one too. It takes time. You just gotta be patient.
Yeah.
So what would you say would be a way that people in the community can make a substantial difference in our community?
Make a substantial difference in the community? I would say, for one, if we came together and we all decided to make everywhere better, if we decided to take one step and just come together and put our focus, time, and energy into making a project better, whatever that project is. And if we stopped, kind of choosing sides, like picking sides over who's this, who's that, trying to be better and bigger than the next person, but just say, look, this is the cause. This is what we're trying to do. This is the mission. Let's do it. I think we would definitely get things done a lot faster, and it'd be a lot better.
I agree with you. Do you have any particular nonprofits that or projects or things that you do out in the community?
I don't have any nonprofits. I need to find some good nonprofits because I don't have any that I work with personally right now. Do you?
Yes, I have a few that are close to my heart. I'm on the board for the Salvation Army. So Christmas season is bell ringing season. So you may see me at a Publix or a Walmart over the next couple of weeks.
You're ringing the bell out there?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. I even dragged a friend along last year, and we brought, a little speaker, and we had Christmas music playing, and we were singing along, standing outside of Walmart. It was great.
What? Wow. Okay.
You got to make everything fun.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of City Walk Urban Mission. Not only do I love thrift shopping, but I love their organization and their executive director. And I'm a big fan of, there's so many that I love. 211 Big Bend is a massive, just phenomenal organization. And Foundation for Arts is an after-school program over by Buck Lake that I really love. They do some amazing things for kids. But there are a lot of nonprofits here in Tallahassee. And I'd love to, if you are interested in any of those, I'm happy to, get you an introduction. And but you find things that are close to your heart. You know what I mean?
The one on Jackson Bluff?
Come again?
The City Walk, the one on Jackson Bluff? Is that?
No, it's actually up. I'm pointing north because I'm off Monroe Street. It's on Monroe Street between 5th and 7th. Do you know where Decent Pizza is? It's across the street from Decent Pizza.
Over in Midtown. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, on Monroe Street.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a thrift shop. So.
Okay. I haven't been there. I have to stop by.
Yes, it's amazing. But if I can do anything to help you narrow down, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
We got a lot of really great organizations here in Tallahassee that do a lot of amazing things. So. Is there anything that you want the community to know about you other than the things that we've spoken about? Or if they're looking for any particular types of service, kind of how to find you and things.
Yeah, definitely you can reach me on Instagram at live_2 and create on Instagram, and on Facebook, Jonathan Kelly. I have a website, theprofitmoguls.com. That's PROFITMOGULS, theprofitmoguls.com. I'm actually going to be doing a webinar Sunday, just like a little quick questionnaire where I just talk about the status of the economy, where we are right now, what the dollar's doing. I'm going to go over the gold standard. A lot of people don't know that. You seem to be educated on it, but a lot of people don't know about gold standard and why it happened or what caused it and all this stuff. So I'm going to go over stuff like that, give the history behind the dollar. What else? Talk about, ways that you can make money even in a pandemic, things like that. Just basic stuff, nothing too big, but just simple things that people probably don't think about because they're too busy, trying to just survive and work and make ends meet.
Yeah. So is Profit Mogul your kind of personal brand?
Yeah. So the Profit Moguls is a company that I started in March. Actually, when COVID hit and shut everything down, everybody was reaching out to me like, hey, what should I do? Give me something to invest in. You do this, you do that. Tell me this. And I'm like, I need to just start a company where I teach people how to do it themselves. So out of COVID came March, April, May, and June. I was doing classes on, I was doing Zoom classes with people that would sign up, and we would do I would teach a course basically, but the course was centered around how to learn the basics of the foreign exchange market, because that's what I do, and then how to understand reading charts, so candlesticks, how to read candlesticks, and how to the psychology behind it and the strategy behind it. So understanding all of that, you can go out and learn how to trade. So I had people, one of my friends from high school lives in Seattle. He said, man, I need to take your course. He took the course. That first week that he started trading live money, because he was trading demo account, then he traded live money. He was like, man, I made $1,700. I'm like, well, that's good. That's
right. That's the point.
Doing it all, So, some people make a couple hundred, some people make a couple thousand. It just depends on everybody's risk tolerance,
Yeah, yeah.
What people have to understand, Audra, is that you can't make money without risking something. You're gonna give up something, whether it's your time, whether it's your energy, whether it's other capital. You're gonna risk something to get something.
Absolutely. Back to that whole currency thing again.
Huh? What's that?
Back to that whole currency thing again. You got to give up something to get it.
If you don't want to give up something, you're never going to get something in return. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. That's how I tell people.
Yep. And I like that whole theory that teach a man to fish.
Yes.
Situation that it benefits everyone for you to provide the education, because either they do very well or they come back and they have questions, and you're building a relationship. No matter what, you're giving up your time to get business or people's success or whatever in return. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because people would offer to give me money to trade for them, and I was like, well, why would I trade for you and have to give you the money and the profits when I can trade for myself? So I was like, let me teach you how to do it so you can do it whenever you want, and I'll help you. But I don't want to take your money, because then I'll tell him, he says, this one guy was like, I'll give you $2,000 to trade. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to expect the return. What if I lose it? That's how trading works.
Right.
And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, then, yeah, you just lose it. So I was like, I don't want to be the one. I'm not there yet where I feel like I want to take somebody's money and then be responsible for it. If I lose it, if I lose my money, it's my money. If I lose somebody else's money, I'm going to feel bad. I'm like,
yeah. Sorry, man, we just lost your kid's entire college plan. No,
so
I'm gonna do it. I completely understand. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for sharing all of your interests and passions and thoughts with us. And I hope everybody wrote down how to get in touch with them. Can you repeat that one more time, just so anybody that wants to write it down? Yeah.
So my name, you can find me on Facebook as Jonathan Kelly. And my Instagram is live, LIVE _2 and create. You can follow me on Instagram and then actually DM me if you have questions. My website is 𝐒𝐵�profitmogu.
Oh, the Profit Mogul. Oh, we lost him. So you can find him at the Profit Mogul. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram, Live to Create. I'm so excited to have had him with us today, and his energy is just so infectious. So thank you, Jonathan Kelly, for being with us today. You guys go out and seek him out and sign up for his webinar. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of crazy, amazing information from him. But that's another episode of Tuesdays with Audra, and we will see you next week with 𝐏𝐚𝐫𝐿, a CPA. So get your questions ready for next week, and we will see you then. Have a great day.